What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon, MLB DFS video. It is Sunday. It is May 26th. Hopefully, you had a great Saturday. Hopefully, you've had a great weekend so far. And we are back with another video. A little bit different than maybe what you're used to if you're new to the channel. We're going to break it down, every single thing. So we're going to look at both slates, or all the games on the slate. We're going to look at all of the pitching on the slate. We're going to look at how they've done in the past, if they've had success against them in their past. We're going to look at it all. So if you've never been here before, hopefully you're in for a treat. Hopefully you learned something. We have giveaways every single video. 2 ways to win every single time. The first way, like the video, be a subscriber, and leave a comment on the video. If this video gets at least 50 likes and you've left a comment, you have a chance to win a free $10 weekly pass to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. Now that video, or that pass, includes every sport that we offer. So the current ones, a week of MLB, a week of PGA, a week of MMA, a week of NASCAR. If this video gets at least 100 likes and you've left a comment, you have a chance to win a $30 monthly pass. If this video gets 150 or more likes, you have a chance to win a $200 yearly pass, and 200 or more likes on this video, and you have a chance to win a $500 lifetime pass. The second way to do it, somewhere in this video, I will mention a keyword here, and all you have to do is leave that keyword as a comment, which it will count as your comment for the first giveaway as well. So technically you could win twice in the same day. We've never had someone win twice in the same day. So we're going to get the 2 winners out of the way first, and then we're going to kind of talk about a couple of updates to the website, and then we will rock and roll from here on out. So we're going to see, this will be for the first one, and this is because we got at least 50 likes on the video. Let's check it out. So the first winner is Bob Billy 88. I play so I can pay for my children's hobbies. So he did have the keyword in there, but that is not what the keyword is for. But this is the second time I think he has won. He might have won yesterday or the day before. I do not remember. So congratulations. If you see this, like it, and then let me know that you saw it. And then email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com, with your username on the website. And if you don't have a username on the website, send me a username and email you would like, and we will get you set up for your weekly pass. Now, Bob Billy has a chance to win again, because he did have the keyword yesterday was children, and we will see. We will pick another winner right now. Now, it's got to have the keyword children in it to be the winner. Richie Smalls, congratulations. This counts because you put children in there. So that is the keyword for yesterday. Richie Smalls, congratulations. Email me with the username and password you would like, and we will get you set up for that free week of FTA Plus. And it's that easy, everybody. If you've never checked it out before, check it out. Go to the website, FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. We're going to update some things. So I said we're going to talk about a little bit of updates. So what we're going to do is on the cheat sheet. So this is yesterday's cheat sheet. So you can see we have we've got cash plays, we've got GPP plays, we got stacks and some of the players we like in those stacks. We've got the weather tab. We've got, if there's an early slate, we've got the early slate. If there's a main slate, we've got the main. So on Sunday, the main slate normally locks at, noon, 1, or wherever you're at. So that's kind of what we got. We've got boomstick shots, which are home run picks. I'm going to add a tab for today, and we're going to have ownership projection. So I take your guys' feedback, and I want to hear it. So things you would like to see in these videos, or things you would like to see for FTA Plus, let me know. We're going to add that. Another thing I think we're going to do, I'm going to dabble into NASCAR Infinity Truck Series. So we're going to add that information in there. That'll be its own tab under NASCAR. We'll have the truck, we'll have the schedule, we'll have simulations, we'll have everything for you. So hopefully it's good to go. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. If there are other things you would like to see on the site, let me know. And thirdly, the thing we're going to add is, and I saw this yesterday, I'm going to attempt it. I've never done it. I think it's pretty simple, but I'm going to put chapters or timestamps in the description of this video of when things start. So like introduction starts at 0, obviously. Winners start at whatever. So on and so forth. Like main slate, other slate, whatever it is. I don't know if I'll break it down by timestamps for games, but we will see. I want to make these videos as neat and easily accessible as possible. So let me know what you guys would like to see in these videos down below, or email us. In the description of this video is today's article that coincides with this slate we're going to talk about. Check that out. Also, the link to our Discord where we give out core plays each and every day that we have. We'll have core plays out there for you. We'll have stacks there as well. So we're going to get started. It's a Sunday, 15 games, 2 games you don't play on the normal slate. You've got the 10:35 a.m. Eastern game. So this, I believe, it used to be the Peacock game, and now it is the Roku game. So you can watch it on Roku for absolutely free. You don't need Peacock Plus. But we can't play this game on the main slate. And we're not going to play the all-day slate if Fanduel does have an all-day slate. So the Toronto and Detroit game is out. We're not going to cover that one. And then the Cubs at the Cardinals game is out, as well as the Sunday Night Baseball game. So there's 2 games that are gone. So now that brings us down to 13 games we're going to discuss. We're going to go through 13 games. We're going to look at the pitchers. We're going to look at everything for you. So buckle up. It's a Sunday. Today is the day of rest for catchers. So you will see, Sundays are normally the days you see the second or the backup catcher starting for a majority of the teams. Not every team, but that is where we'll look at. So would love your feedback, what you guys would like to see more in these videos, less in these videos. Reiterate a little bit, let me know, because we want you to be a better DFS player. But if you need a little bit more help, we do have FTA Plus, $10 a month, or $10 a week. You can check it out, and it includes every sport that we offer and sports betting on top of it. So that being said, at the end of this video, we will have your top 20 bats after 10,000 simulations. So we run simulations during this video if you've never been here before, and we'll give you the top 20 bats. And if those do change before the main slate locks at noon or 1 Eastern, we will update that. If there's no updates, it's normally 10,000 simulations on Sundays, because the majority of the plays lock early already and not much has changed in those simulations. So we're going to take a look. First game, Mariners at the Nationals. You got Brian Wu versus Patrick Corbin. Brian Wu, they really haven't seen each other much. So we're going to dig into what the previous games on the road, what we're looking at. So Brian Wu is 8,600. He's kind of up there. 0.57 ERA, 2-0 record, only 15 strikeouts. Amazing game against the Yankees. They ended up winning that game against the Yankees. 6 innings in that game, 0 earned runs, 7 Ks. The Yankees are a really good hitting team, as we saw on Friday when they absolutely demolished Yu Darvish. Now he's got an easier matchup here against Washington. My problem is there are a ton of weather concerns today. So a lot of weather concerns to kind of navigate. This is one of them. We've got a weather concern with Milwaukee, Boston. We've got a weather concern, Seattle at Washington. Weather concern, the Dodgers at the Reds. We have weather, Baltimore and Chicago, and then Texas at Minnesota. All weather concerns on a Sunday, which kind of stinks. But hopefully we're able to navigate a little bit more. But Brian Wu, absolutely Brian Wu here. 8,600. Love his price there. The strikeouts need to come up, but he's coming off a great game. Obviously, he has not pitched much this year. 3 total games. 1 against the Yankees, he dominated. 1 against the Royals, he did middle of the road, actually pretty good, 21.6. And then against Oakland, kind of middle of the road, only went 4.1 innings, but he left that game hurt. So looks like his arm issue is out of there. My only concern with this game would be to look at the weather. So if the weather is a factor, if he starts the game and then the weather delays the game, then we're screwed, especially at this price of 8,600. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. Then we come in, you got Patrick Corbin down here at 5,000. He's actually, looking at this, the past 2 games he's looked bad. 6 innings against Minnesota. They just let him go out there. 6 innings, 8 earned runs, 3 walks, 3 home runs, only 3 Ks. 5,500. He's dropped in price. Against the White Sox, he did not do well. Against Boston, he did okay. But it's usually the past couple of years, if you've been with our channel, and I thank you everyone who subscribed yesterday and this weekend. We have boomed this past couple of days. We are under 700, I think right under 700 to go to 10,000. If we could get 700 new subscribers by July 1st, I will give away 1 lifetime pass. Let's say 4th of July. If we can get, let's try that. 700 more subscribers. Let's get to the 10,000 mark here on YouTube by the 4th of July, and we will give away one $500 lifetime pass. And if you haven't already, go follow us on Twitter at advisors_team, trying to hit 10,000 there as well. So that being said, the thing to do, if you've been with us the past couple of years, stack against Patrick Corbin for the most part. He's had some games where he's been okay, but other games it's just been let's stack against him and count our money. And it just feels like one of those days, as long as the weather holds up, I would be looking at stacking the Mariners here. Cal Raleigh, questionable just because he is a catcher and it is a Sunday, but he is a switch hitting catcher, which I could look at. Sebi Zavala is another one you could look at if he's in there, but I really like Cal Raleigh here. J-Rod against Patrick Corbin, would not be surprised if he goes yard. Dylan Moore, Mitch Garver, Mitch Haniger against lefties is usually what you want to take. You could look at Luke Raley as another option. I love me a Mariner stack today. Just be weary of the weather. I don't want anything to do with Washington Nationals bats. I don't want anything to do with Patrick Corbin. So I will be looking at Brian Wu, and I will be looking at the Mariners bats against Corbin. That's where I'm going today. Again, depending on when the weather gets here, we will find a little bit. But since this is an early game, we should see the lineups come out. We should see a little bit better weather forecast in the near future. So I feel confident about that. So I'm going Brian Wu. I'm going the Mariners 5 deep stack here against Patrick Corbin. Then we got the Braves at the Pirates. You got Chris Sale versus Martin Perez. And we look at this. I would, to be honest with you, I'm probably leaning more towards Chris Sale and Boston stack. So we just look at Chris Sale here. He's the most expensive. He's $10,500. He's very expensive. Splits-wise, he has not faced Pittsburgh this year. Pitching on the road in 3 games. Got a 4.15 ERA. So he's been a little bit worse on the road. I think a lot of people will be on Sale. I will be one of them. He is expensive, though. That's what scares me, being able to get his value. For value, you need 2.5 times value. So we're looking basically, we need right around 27 to 30 fantasy points out of him, which he's capable of doing. But weather is also a concern here. I think I might just go ahead, and just because weather's a concern, if it is a delay and he actually starts and then there's an hour or whatever the delay could be, then they get back into this. Actually, he's pitching at home. Or no, it's sunshine. In Pittsburgh, it's sunshine. The problem is he is expensive. That's my problem. $10,500, and the Pirates have been hitting. I wish if he was $10,000, I would think about it. I don't know. I'm a little bit scared of that, price wise anyway. And then Martin Perez. We look at Martin Perez. He's down here at 5,500 for a reason. He's got a 4.80 ERA. Game logs. Has not faced Atlanta this year, but they generally hit lefties better. I'm probably looking at Chris Sale a little bit. Is expensive, but I would look at Boston bats or Atlanta bats as well. So I would be looking at Marcell Ozuna, who absolutely murders lefties. Same thing with Acuna normally. Austin Riley normally. Travis d'Arnaud as your catcher. Again, I don't know if he's going to be in there, but if you've been with us before, you know that I absolutely love to take Travis d'Arnaud against a lefty pitcher if he's in there. That would be another one. Adam Duvall could be a cheap Braves option if he's in there. Again, got to wait for these lineups to come out. If for whatever reason d'Arnaud is out, Chadwick Tromp could be a very cheap catching option on a Sunday slate where a lot of these catchers might sit. Michael Harris, I don't mind. He is a lefty bat, though, but I really love Marcell Ozuna here. Love him a little bit more than I love Riley or d'Arnaud today, and he's been absolutely mashing it. I really don't want anything to do with Martin Perez, but if you were to look at some Pittsburgh bats, because maybe you think Chris Sale's not going to have a good game, O'Neal Cruz would be one I'd look at. McCutchen would be one. Leadoff home run would not be out of the realm there. Connor Joe normally hits lefties better, and Michael A. Taylor, we like to use him against lefties. So a little bit of exposure to Chris Sale. He is very expensive, though. That is my only problem on this slate today. Then you got the Brewers at the Red Sox, to be announced versus Tanner Houck with weather concerns yet again. They believe it's going to be Gasser. So Robert Gasser last pitched in Tuesday, which would make sense for him to pitch here. Went 6 innings in that game. We used him in that game, and it did not work out. That's what I think differentiates FantasyTeamAdvisors.com with the other big names, I won't name them, but you guys really grind my gears. You know what I'm talking about. They will not admit that they're wrong. They will not say we were right, or they won't say they're wrong. I was wrong about Gasser, and I'm just trying to give you guys my best that I can do. Had a great game against St. Louis, had a good game against Pittsburgh. Miami should have had a good game. 4 earned runs, 0 Ks in that game. I would not be using Gasser here. If it is him, I would not be using him. I would be using Boston Bats here. The weather, got to be a little bit careful about this weather, but we can take a look. Obviously, Rafi Devers, you would look at. Tyler O'Neill hits lefties well if he's in there. Wilyer Abreu, Jarren Duran would be the main ones. Then, depending, if you want to get a little bit cheaper, depending on the lineup that comes out, Vaughn Grissom could save you some money. Connor Wong could save you money if he's catching. Rob Refsnyder could save you money if he's out there in the outfield. David Hamilton might be as well. Probably not so much on Hamilton, but it'll just depend on the lineup that comes out and if the weather will play a factor. And then you got Tanner Houck. What Tanner Houck are we going to get? He is 9,100. He's up there in price. He's got a 1.94 ERA. He's been pitching lights out pretty much. 2 back-to-back games against Tampa Bay. Kind of not so much going well. Gave up 6 earned runs between Washington and Minnesota. That's my problem there. Pitching at home, he's got a 2.38 ERA, so he's been a little bit worse at home. If you were to, fade him and just go with some of these Milwaukee bats, William Contreras obviously makes a lot of sense. Christian Yelich makes a lot of sense. Jake Bauers would be a very cheap first base lefty bat here if he's in there. Obviously, Willy Adames is another one I'd look at. A couple of other ones, if they're in there today, I would look at a little bit of Andrew Monasterio. I would look at Sal Frelick as well. Again, it's the weather. You're going to hear that a lot today. There is a ton of weather that we've got to navigate today. So I'll have some Houck. I'll have tournament Houck. I don't think I trust him in cash, though. Then we got the Dodgers at the Reds. You got Yamamoto versus to be announced, but they believe it's going to be Brent Suter, who will be an opener. He did that on Thursday, and that's kind of what we saw. I don't know if he'll do that again because he just faced this team, and he, 1 inning, 1 earned run. So they did end up winning that game on Thursday, but I don't know who's going to be the pitcher here, and that's just what's expected because we've got a lot of weather. We've got a lot of injuries in the MLB, and now with the invention or introduction to the openers, which you guys know I absolutely hate, we don't have it locked down. A couple of years ago, there was never an opener. It was this guy every 5 days unless he was hurt, and we were good to go. Not the case anymore. Obviously, Yamamoto, he's expensive, $10,500 less than Chris Sale. Coming off a good game against Arizona, not really good game against San Francisco, Miami, Arizona, Washington. He's had really good games. 3.17 ERA, 61 strikeouts, getting a ton of strikeouts. Pitching on the road, he's actually been way better on the road. This is a small ballpark. The ball flies out of there. We saw that Thursday. We saw that Friday. The ball flies out of there a little bit. So Yamamoto, I don't mind him. I think I like him a little bit more than I like Chris Sale because of the little bit of price savings there. I will have some Yamamoto. Obviously, the Dodgers bats make a lot of sense, just depending on who the Reds are even going to throw out there. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Shohei, Teoscar Hernandez, Andy Pages you could look at, Jason Hayward. It really depends on who's out there and who the starting pitcher for the Reds are. Obviously, Reds bats, if you, for whatever reason, Ellie De La Cruz obviously makes sense. But if you're looking for certain, hey, Yamamoto, he's going to be very expensive. He's going to be very owned. Who could we take instead? Ellie De La Cruz, I don't mind. Will Benson, Spencer Steer, don't mind those guys. Mike Ford would be a cheap option. I'd probably not use him much. Stuart Fairchild could be one. Jacob Hurtubise, I don't know how you say his name, but very cheap outfield option. He's been getting on base. He's been scoring every time I look in the box score. I don't mind those guys. Obviously, I'm more on a Dodger stack, but you're going to see, if you want to take some money down, you're going to have to make multiple lineups. You cannot be a better DFS player, sustainable DFS player, if you don't play multiple lineups. If you play one lineup in a multi-entry tournament, you're not going to you're not going to have good return on investment. So just an FYI, a sneaky stack could be the Reds, but again, Yamamoto's been able to shove way more than he's got shoved, and I think that probably continues today. Giants at the Mets is next. We saw the Mets bullpen implode. We saw Friday night they gave up I think it was a grand slam to lose the game. Not a walk-off, but they lost the game. Logan Webb's had their number in the past. I love Logan Webb. It's a pitcher's park. I would look at Logan Webb, and I would look at the Giants bats here. So, depending on who's there, Lamont Wade Jr. makes sense. He did not play Saturday, so I don't know if he's hurt or what's going on. But I would look at Matt Chapman against Sean Manaea. I would look at Lamont Wade. I would look at Jorge Soler against lefties. You always want to look at them. A couple of cheaper options, Thairo Estrada or Wilmer Flores makes a lot of sense. If Patrick Bailey is out, Kirk Casale hits lefties pretty well as well. I really don't want any. I won't have any Mets bats. I'll have a lot of Logan Webb, and I'll have in this ballpark especially, and I'll have the Giants bats against Manaea. Then we get to the Royals at the Rays. You got Michael Wacha facing as one of his former teams versus Taj Bradley. Wacha, 58 plate appearances, so seen him, 2-3 starts worth, 264 average, 19 strikeout percentage, not too shabby. So let's look at his numbers, though. That is what we'll find out. So Michael Wacha, 4.45 ERA, so it's a little up there. We look at his splits, has not faced Tampa Bay this year, so these numbers came in the past. Home games, he has pitched to the tune of 4.50 ERA away, 4.41, so a little bit better on the road. I'm probably not using him. I can almost guarantee I don't have any Michael Wacha exposure today. I don't like that. And then Taj Bradley, 4 ERA, game logs, good game against Boston. He's had good games. I think a lot of people will be on Kansas City, but Taj Bradley could be a sneaky option here for tournaments. He's not going to be your cash guy there. Looking at bats, if you're not going pitching here, obviously Bobby Witt Jr. makes a lot of sense. Salvi Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, MJ Melendez. A couple of cheaper ones would be Michael Massey or Nelson Velasquez. But I will have some exposure to Taj Bradley. If you think Michael Wacha is not going to have a good game, Tampa Bay's been their offense has been bad this year. Arozarena, isn't he batting like... Randy Arozarena is batting a cool 159. 159. He's got 8 home runs, though. He's really following that Joey Gallo track this year. It just looks so bad. It's so bad. He's played Kansas City once this year. 4 at-bats, 1 strikeout. I didn't do anything against them. Yeah. 8 home runs with 18 RBIs is not ideal. Not good. Like I said, Tampa Bay bats just have not looked good this year. They just put Josh Lowe on the IL, so Brandon Lau could make sense. Yandy Diaz, Richie Palacios, Rortvet, Isaac Paredes. But honestly, I don't know how many times this year I've even considered Tampa Bay as a stack. But, Michael Wacha, not the best pitcher. It is a very good matchup for them. I will admit that. Is a very good matchup for him here against Michael Wacha, who comes in with a 4.45 ERA, like I said. I'm probably... I don't think I'll have any Michael Wacha. I'll have a little bit of Kansas City. Personally, I'm probably not going to have any Tampa Bay bats. I will have a little bit of exposure to Taj Bradley, though. Rangers at the Twins. I believe Eovaldi's going to be coming off the IL versus Pablo Lopez. Lopez, 44 plate appearance, 366, has not had the best outings against them. And then you see Eovaldi. We're looking at this. Oh, that was last week. So he had a bullpen session last Friday. So he's already thrown off the mound. This is definitely one to monitor. At the moment, it appears that it could be Eovaldi. If it's not, then it might be a bullpen day. Nate Eovaldi here, if it is him, I do not mind him, especially at 8,600. I don't mind him at all is where I would look at. But again, we got to wait to see if it's going to actually be him or not. So that's definitely something to look at. And then Pablo Lopez. So we look at Pablo Lopez. He's very expensive. He's 9,300. Got a 4.72 ERA, so his ERA is up there. Splits-wise, has not faced Texas this year, has not had success in the 44 plate appearances that he has had. He's pitching at home, where he does have a better ERA, 3.49 compared to 6 on the road. But he's had 2 bad games in a row. And did not have a good game against Washington. 5 innings, 7 earned runs, 2 home runs, 5 Ks. Against Seattle, had 10 strikeouts. Against the Yankees, only 3 strikeouts. But then against Boston, LA, 8 strikeouts apiece. So looking at this, probably, if it is Eovaldi, I'll have a little bit of exposure to Eovaldi. But I think I'd rather have the Texas bats over Pablo Lopez. So the bats, obviously Corey Seager, Adolis Garcia. Love Jonah Heim, but it's a Sunday. I don't know if he'll be in there. Nate Lowe. A couple of cheap options. You could look at Travis Jankowski. You could look at Evan Carter, Ezekiel Duran, even Josh H. Smith if he's in there. If it is Eovaldi and maybe you don't think he's going to have a good game because he's off the IL, or maybe he goes 4 innings and then the bullpen comes in, Carlos Santana, Alex Kirilloff, Carlos Correa, Byron Buxton. There's a lot to like about this Minnesota offense, except when they played the Yankees. But Carlos Correa has been coming on strong lately, so I'm more inclined to look at Texas stack, but I don't mind some of these Twins bats. It just will all depend on who the lineup is, or the pitcher is that comes in. And once that is announced, we will update the simulations. We'll update the projections on the website once it's more clear who the actual pitcher is going to be. So don't worry about that. Do not fret around that. So now that brings us, so that's the main slate. Now that brings us to the 4-game afternoon slate. So we look at that. We've got 4 games on this slate. We're going to look at them all. We've got the Orioles at the White Sox, Kyle Bradish versus Garrett Crochet. Bradish, 16 plate appearance, .071, 37.5 K percentage there. So we look at that. This game, hold on a second. Sorry, this is still on the main slate. Weather concern in this game, though. We got Kyle Bradish here against Garrett Crochet. 8,800 for Bradish, 2.41 ERA on the year. The problem is he's not gone more than 5 innings in a game. This would be the game that he could do that in against the White Sox. Very bad offense. But the weather is a concern. Obviously, I love Bradish and obviously love Baltimore bats here. I just don't know if this game is going to be played. And then Crochet comes in. He's had some really good starts in a row. We used him against Toronto his last start. 6 innings, 0 earned runs, 4 Ks. The strikeouts have been lower. We did use him against Washington because that's obviously a good matchup. The strikeouts have been down a little bit. I don't mind. So Bradish, I think, is your cash pitcher. I think Crochet is your tournament pitcher. I want absolutely nothing to do with the White Sox offense, but I do want something to do with the Baltimore offense, depending if this weather comes in, especially if this game gets started. Crochet goes in, maybe he throws 3-4 innings, shoves, strikes out 6 or 7, and then the bullpen has to come in. That's where Baltimore could absolutely dominate. Gunnar Henderson, Jordan Westburg, Colton Cowser, Kyle Stowers, really depends who's in there, Adley, O'Hearn, Mountcastle. Obviously, these guys make a lot of sense. A couple others that I'd look at, Cedric Mullins, Austin Hayes, or Mateo. Just depends on who's in this lineup here. I think Crochet, depending, I think he could shove for the first 4 or 5 innings. That's what he does. He either shoves for the first 4 or 5 innings, or he gets absolutely shelled early in the game and is out. Either or, that bullpen comes in. I think Baltimore brings it on late in this game if the weather does not play a huge factor in there. So, looking at this, Bradish is my cash, Crochet is my tournament, and that's that. Then you got Philly. You got Philly at the Rockies, and I don't think this game is even playable. Yeah, you can't even play this game. It's like in the middle. It's a weird time in the middle. So we can't play that game. Obviously, I would love to look at Philly's bats if you're playing a single game here. You need Ranger Suarez, I think, and then Philly bats. But you obviously need, if you're playing a showdown with this game, you need at least one Colorado bat. So Britton Doyle, Ryan McMahon, Those would be probably the only two that I would look at in this game. Maybe Kyle Quantrill if you think he's going to do good for the first couple of games, but probably not. Okay, now we have gotten into the afternoon slate, the 4-game afternoon slate to end this. 30 minutes in, we're finally into the afternoon slate, but we got Ben Lively, a.k.a. Blake Lively, versus Reed Detmers. Now, Detmers started off the season very good. He has struggled lately. So we'll look at Ben Lively here. We look at his numbers, 8,300, 284 ERA, splits. He's already faced the Angels once this year, went 6 innings, only gave up 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts, 150 ERA, 21.3 fantasy points. Would be a perfect number here at this price point. Love that matchup. Coming off a fantastic game against the Mets, not so good against Texas or the White Sox, and then his last game was on May 4th. So he's seen him a little bit recent. So I would love Ben Lively here. Then you got Reed Detmers, 5.80 ERA, minus 2.4, 11.3, 3.9, 7.4, 1.9. Like, he started off, like I said, very hot, and it has gone downhill ever since then. Cleveland's been hot. I am all in on a Cleveland stack. Jose Ramirez, love me Jose Ramirez. Josh Naylor, love me Josh Naylor. Bo Naylor, David Fry, Andres Jimenez. These are the bats that I would look at. I am looking in this early this afternoon 4-game slate. I am looking here 100% at a Cleveland stack. I don't want anything to do with Reed Detmers at all. If you were to twist my arm, you're like, hey, who would you use for Angels bats? Logan O'Hoppe, Taylor Ward, Joe Adell, Willie Calhoun. Those would be the main ones. Luis Renifo, you could look at. Nolan Schanuel, Kevin Pillar. But it would be the top 4 right here that I would even think about. But I'm more looking at Cleveland Guardians as a stack, and I will have a little bit of Ben Lively, especially on a 4-game slate like this. It's really the only way to go about a slate kind of like this. Next game, we got the Astros at the Athletics. We got Ronel Blanco coming off his suspension for using sticky stuff. The ump said it was the stickiest stuff he's ever felt. He gets a juicy matchup. He gets a sticky matchup here against the A's. Should do well. Should is the key word. I don't know if it's going to affect him that he hasn't pitched in. He missed a turn in the rotation. I don't know if it's going to affect him. But he's got a great matchup here. He is expensive, 9,500 splits. He's already faced Oakland once this year. Only went 3 innings in that game, though. 4 hits allowed. Just so happened that was the game he was caught cheating. He was caught cheating in a game against one of the worst teams, but he was doing well in those 3 innings. He already had 4 Ks in those 3 innings, no earned runs, and only 1 walk. So he gets to face the team he just faced. Now he gets a better ballpark to face them in. Ronel Blanco, as long as you're not cheating, don't get caught again. I would use him obviously here. Great numbers, 2.09 ERA, 4-0 record, 44 strikeouts. Love this matchup for him against Oakland. And then we look at Aaron Brooks, 6,000, 4.15 ERA, not good against Colorado. Would not use him. I would use Houston bats. Yordan, maybe he's coming around a little bit. Kyle Tucker's pushing for MVP. Jose Altuve. You could look at Jake Myers a little bit if you want to get a little bit less than ownership-wise. You could look at a little bit of Jeremy Pena, Alex Bregman. This is a big ballpark, though. But I absolutely love Ronel Blanco, and I'd rather take a Houston stack over Aaron Brooks or any of the Oakland bats today. Then we go into the Marlins at the Diamondbacks. Ryan Weathers versus to be announced. They believe it's going to be Brandon Pfaadt, which makes sense because he last pitched on Tuesday. So I don't know why. This is what I hate because a couple of years ago, every 5 days, it was this person. An MLB savant or baseball savant would have all of that information. For whatever reason, they don't. So Brandon Pfaadt here coming off back-to-back really good games. One against the Dodgers, really good hitting team. And then one against Cincinnati. A couple of stinkers with Baltimore and Seattle, or San Diego, but then had a great game against Seattle. Splits-wise, it's a great matchup for him against Miami. Pitching at home, he does have a better ERA. It is 3.77 at home, but it is a better ERA than on the road. I will have exposure to Brandon Pfaadt if it is, in fact, him which it should be unless he's hurt. And then on the flip side of that, it's Ryan Weathers. Now, I will admit, we used him his last 2 games. Did very well against Milwaukee, did very well against Detroit. Arizona has been up and down. They do have hitters that hit lefties better, though. The batters that I would look at in this lineup, if Arizona decides to show up against a lefty pitcher, and we have talked about this, 100%. Ketel Marte at the top of this lineup, switch hitter. Christian Walker normally hits lefties well. Randall Grichuk could be a sneaky option in the outfield. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. would be another option I'd look at. I don't know if he'll start, but Gabriel Moreno normally hits I usually like to use him a little bit more against lefties than I do anybody else. It will really just depend. And then you got Eugenio Suarez. You could use a little bit of Blaze Alexander. I don't mind an Arizona stack. Ryan Weathers has been good this year, or the past couple of games. So I think people might see that. I want to take exposure. If I make like 20 lineups, I'll have Ryan Weathers in one of them, but I will most likely have more Arizona bats than I will Ryan Weathers in this game. And I will have Brandon Pfaadt. I will have him for sure. And then the final game that we can play for today that's not a single game, we've got the Yankees at the Padres. We've got Clark Schmidt, who's looked absolutely on fire this year, versus Joe Musgrove, 60 plate appearances, 259. He's held them down when he's faced them, but this team is a hot-hitting team right now. It's very hard to want to take anyone against him. If you would have told me Clark Schmidt would be this expensive or the second highest priced pitcher on any slate that's not like a 2-game slate, I would have called you out. It's got 2.59 ERA, 5-2 record, 61 strikeouts. If you watched us in the past, he was always struggling to get through the full 5th inning. He was always like 5.2 innings, but could never make it to the 6th inning. Got to the 6th inning back-to-back games. A stud there. Strikeouts have been up. We've seen at least 5 strikeouts in every single game since April 6th. So there's only been one game this year that he's had less than 5 strikeouts. The second game of the season against Toronto. Sorry, lied. No, yeah, I was right. Yeah, against Toronto. Coming off not the best start against Seattle. Went 5 innings in that game, 2 earned runs, 1 home run. Still had 6 strikeouts. Got up to 100 pitches though. They worked him. Those Seattle bats really worked him. You've seen back-to-back 100-pitch games. Love this matchup here. I know San Diego, on paper, San Diego should be hitting way better than they are. But they did just get swept by Colorado, which is a very bad team. I love me some Clark Schmidt today. Can I be wrong? I will come back tomorrow, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I will have exposure to Clark Schmidt. And then we look at Joe Musgrove, 8,000. He's got almost a 6 ERA this year. Splits has not faced Yankees this year. What's crazy, pitching at home, he still has almost a 6 ERA at home, which is known as a pitcher's park. He's given up 21 earned runs and 9 home runs at home in 6 games. I think that trend probably continues today with the Yankees mashing this afternoon. I would be looking at a Yankee stack. Again, you never know what Boone's going to do with this lineup, but again, Aaron Judge, Volpe, Juan Soto, Stanton, these are the ones I'm looking at. Cheaper options could be Rizzo, but he's struggled this year. Oswaldo Cabrera should be starting. DJ LeMahieu could be back. I don't think he's back yet, but he's on the brink of coming back. He might come back after this series. We'll see. Maybe he comes back right as I upload this video. Who knows? But that would be one you could look at. Yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking at. I would look at a Yankee stack. I would look at Clark Schmidt. I really don't want anything to do with Joe Musgrove. I really don't want anything to do with the Padres. I guess if you think Clark Schmidt's going to have a bad game here, obviously Tatis, Machado, Luis Arraez makes sense. Jake Cronenworth makes sense. Jurickson Profar makes sense. Jackson Merrill being a lefty bat here. But personally, myself, I'm probably looking at Clark Schmidt and the Yankees as a stack there. So, the keyword of the day is holiday, because tomorrow is Memorial Day, holiday. So today's keyword is holiday. So just throw that in the chat, or not the chat, throw that in your comment below, and we will pick a winner tomorrow, just like we do almost every single game. So what we're doing is we are going to give you the top 20 bats after 10,000 simulations. I do expect this to change a little bit, but these are the early simulations through 10,000. So if you need a paper or pen, check it out. On top of this, we have so much more on the website. You can go to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, MLB tab, go all the way down here, and you can see all the things that we have to help you become a better DFS player. So here we go. Number 1, Aaron Judge. Number 2, Bryce Harper, as long as he does not get ejected. Number 3 is Dylan Moore. Number 4 is Ronald Acuna. 5 is Kyle Tucker. 6 is Bryson Stott. 7, Mitch Garver. 8, Yordan Alvarez. 9, Jose Altuve. 10, Kyle Schwarber. 11, Marcell Ozuna. Love Marcell Ozuna today. 12, Ozzie Albies. 13, Juan Soto. 14, JT Realmuto. 15, JP Crawford. 16, Nick Castellanos. 17, Josh Naylor. 18, Jose Ramirez. I'm very surprised they're that low. 19, Brendan Donovan. And number 20 right now, Matt Olson. So that's what we've got. A great Sunday slate. I do not have work tomorrow. I will be back in the lab getting some of these simulations down, getting some more of this information for you so we can make tomorrow's video even better than today. So like I said, if you're still here, we are looking for suggestions. Whether or not you're looking for things for FTA+, whether or not you're looking for things on the website, or even in these videos, or what you would like to see, let us know. That's what we're here for. Hopefully you had a great Friday night, Saturday night, and hopefully your Sunday is even better. Hopefully you win a ton of money, and if you do, come back and let us know. So good luck on this slate, and as always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace!